Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the Vengeance. His dark eyes looked out at the stars through the big window. He was 35 years old and had short black hair. His face was hard and serious. Jake was the best shadow hunter in all of human space. "Captain, we're getting close to New Haven Colony," said Lieutenant Amy Carter. She was his weapons officer and had been with him for 3 years. Amy had red hair and was very good with guns and missiles. "Good," Jake said. His voice was cold. "How many people live there?" "About 50,000, sir," answered Commander Pete Jackson. Pete was Jake's tactical officer. He was older than Jake, with gray hair and many scars on his hands from old battles. Jake walked to the center of the bridge. Around him, his crew worked at their stations. The Vengeance was the newest and strongest ship in the human fleet. It was built just for hunting shadows. These strange beings had been attacking human colonies for 15 years. "Show me the reports from New Haven," Jake ordered. The big screen in front of him lit up. It showed pictures of a small colony with white buildings and green farms. But there were also dark marks on some buildings. These were signs that shadows had been there. 3 attacks in 2 weeks, Pete said. They hit the power plant, the communications center, and the government building. No one died, but the people are scared. Jake studied the pictures. Something felt different about these attacks. Usually when shadows attacked, people died. Lots of people. But here, the buildings were damaged but empty when the shadows came. "That's strange," Amy said. "Why would they attack empty buildings?" Jake didn't answer. He was thinking about his sister, Kate. She had died 5 years ago when shadows attacked Earth. Jake found her body in the ruins of her apartment building. That day, he promised to kill every shadow he could find. Since then, Jake had hunted and killed more shadows than any other human. The military leaders called him their best weapon. Other captains wanted to be like him. But Jake didn't care about fame. He only cared about revenge. "Sir, we're getting a message from New Haven," said the communications officer. "Put it on screen," Jake said. A man's face appeared. He looked tired and scared. "This is Mayor Bob Wilson of New Haven Colony. Please help us." The shadows came again. "Last night. They were in our school, but no children were hurt because it was nighttime. We don't understand what they want." Jake turned off the screen. "Amy, check our weapons. Make sure everything works. Pete, scan the colony for shadow energy." "Yes, sir," they both said. Jake walked back to the window. He remembered the first time he saw a shadow. It was 10 years ago, during his first mission. The shadow looked like a person made of light and darkness. It moved without making sound, and could walk through walls. When he shot it with regular weapons, nothing happened. But the special shadow weapons worked. They could hurt these beings. "Captain," Pete called. "I'm getting strange readings from the colony. There's shadow energy, but it's different." "Different how?" Jake asked. "It's not moving around like usual. It's staying in one place near the old research building outside town." Jake smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. "It's waiting for us." "Good. That will make our job easier." Amy loaded the special weapons. These guns fired energy that could hurt shadows. Jake had helped design them after studying dead shadow bodies. Each weapon cost more than a regular ship, but they worked. "How many shadows do you think are down there?" Amy asked. "Maybe 1, maybe more," Jake said. "It doesn't matter. We'll kill them all." The Vengeance moved closer to New Haven. Jake could see the colony growing larger on the screen. It looked peaceful, but he knew shadows were hiding somewhere below. Jake thought about all the shadows he had killed, 47 of them over 10 years. Each time, he felt good. Each dead shadow meant one less threat to human families. Each dead shadow was revenge for his sister Kate. "We'll land outside the research building," Jake told his pilot. "I want a small team. Just me, Amy, and Pete. The rest of you stay with the ship." "Sir, shouldn't we bring more people?" Pete asked. "Shadows are dangerous." Jake shook his head. "Too many people make noise. Shadows can sense us coming if we're not careful. A small team is better." The ship landed with a soft thud. Jake put on his special armor. It was black and covered with sensors that could detect shadow energy. Amy and Pete put on their armor too. They walked down the ship's ramp. The air on new. Haven smelled like flowers and fresh grass. It was a nice planet, warm and green. Jake almost felt sad that shadows were here to ruin it. Energy readings are stronger now, Pete said, looking at his scanner. Definitely one shadow, maybe more. They walked toward the old research building. It was made of gray stone and had been empty for many years. Perfect place for shadows to hide. Jake checked his weapon one more time. He had killed 47 shadows. Today he would make it 48. For Kate. For all the humans who had died. For justice. He didn't know that everything he believed was wrong. Jake, Amy, and Pete walked slowly toward the old research building. Their boots made soft sounds on the grass. Jake held his weapon ready. His heart beat fast, but not from fear. He was excited. Another shadow would die today. The readings are getting stronger, Pete whispered. He looked at his scanner. It's inside the building on the second floor. The research building had broken windows and old walls covered with green plants. It looked like no one had been there for years. But Jake knew better. Shadows liked old, empty places. They reached the front door. Jake pushed it open carefully. It made a loud noise that echoed inside. The building was dark and dusty. Old papers were scattered on the floor. Stay close, Jake said quietly. Shadows can move fast. They climbed the old stairs. Each step made noise no matter how careful they were. Jake's weapon hummed softly, ready to fire. Amy carried a backup weapon and extra power cells. Pete had his scanner and a communication device. On the second floor, they found a long hallway, with many doors. Most doors were open and showed empty rooms with old desks and chairs. But one door at the end was closed. It's in there, Pete whispered, pointing at the closed door. Jake moved forward. This was the part he loved most, the moment before he killed another shadow. He thought about Kate and felt angry. Good. Anger made him strong. He kicked the door, open, and rushed inside. The room was empty except for an old desk and some broken equipment. Sunlight came through a dirty window, but in the center of the room something waited for them. The shadow stood perfectly still. It looked like a person made of light and darkness. Jake could see through it, but it also seemed solid. The shadow was tall and thin, about the same size as a human, but its face was hard to see clearly. Jake raised his weapon. Don't move. But the shadow didn't try to run. It didn't attack. It just stood there and looked at him. Jake was confused. Usually shadows tried to escape or fight. This one seemed calm. Captain Morrison, the shadow said. Jake almost dropped his weapon. Shadows never talked. In 10 years of hunting them, he had never heard one speak, but this shadow's voice was clear and soft. It sounded almost human. You can talk? Jake said, still pointing his weapon at the shadow. Yes, the shadow replied. We have always been able to talk, but you never tried to listen. Amy and Pete moved to stand behind Jake. They kept their weapons ready, but they looked as confused as Jake felt. Why are you here? Jake demanded. What do you want with these people? The shadow tilted its head. I want to protect them, just like I have been trying to protect you. Protect me? Jake laughed, but it didn't sound happy. You killed my sister. You killed thousands of humans. You're lying. No, the shadow said, sadly. You don't understand. We have never killed humans. We try to save them. Jake's finger moved toward the trigger. You're a liar. I saw what you did to Kate. Your sister Kate Morrison, who lived on Earth in the city of Denver? The shadow asked. Jake was shocked. How did this shadow know about Kate? How do you know her name? Because I was there that day, the shadow said. I tried to warn everyone. The real attackers were coming, but the humans thought I was the enemy. Real attackers? Pete asked. The shadow looked at Pete, then back at Jake. The Krillian raiders. They came to steal humans and sell them as slaves. I appeared to warn your people, but your military shot at me instead. While they chased me, the Krillians attacked. Jake's hands shook. No. The report said shadows killed her. Look at me carefully, Captain Morrison, the shadow said. Do I look like something that destroys? Or do I look like something that protects? Jake stared at the shadow. Now that it wasn't moving, he could see it better. The light around it was soft and warm, not scary. And something about its voice seemed familiar. This is a trick, Jake said. You're trying to confuse me. I have been watching you since you were born, the shadow continued. I was there when you took your first steps. I was there when you graduated from the academy. I was there when you cried for your sister. Stop it, Jake said. I was there when you had nightmares as a child. You always dreamed about monsters under your bed, but I kept them away. Jake's weapon shook in his hands. Stop talking. Do you remember when you were 8 years old? You were lost in the woods near your house. It was getting dark and you were scared. You saw a light that led you home. That was me. Jake did remember that day. He had followed a strange, warm light through the trees. His parents never believed him when he told them about it. Why should I believe you? Jake asked. Because, the shadow said, you have been hunting us for so long. Do you ever wonder why we never truly fight back? Jake thought about all his battles with shadows. They always seemed to run away or surrender quickly. Even when they fought, they never really tried to hurt him. He had always thought they were just cowards. Suddenly, alarms started ringing from Pete's scanner. Captain, more ships are coming. Big ones. Through the window, Jake could see dark shapes in the sky. Ships he didn't recognize. They were not human ships. The Krillians, the shadow said. They're back. They followed you here. The strange ships started firing at the colony below. Red beams of light hit buildings and made them explode. People were screaming and running. We have to help them, Amy said. But as they watched, something amazing happened. More shadows appeared around the colony. They moved like lightning, putting themselves between the alien weapons and the humans. When the red beams hit them, the shadows absorbed the energy and disappeared. But the humans lived. They're protecting the people, Pete whispered. Jake watched in shock as shadow after shadow threw itself in front of alien weapons to save humans they had never met. They were dying to protect people who called them enemies. The shadow in the room with them started to fade. I must go help them. But Jake Morrison, think about what you have seen today. We are not your enemies. We never were. The shadow started to leave, but Jake called out, Wait, what's your name? The shadow turned back. For just a moment, Jake could see its face clearly. It looked like a young woman with kind eyes. My name is Lisa, she said. Lisa Grant, and I have been trying to protect you your whole life. Then she was gone, leaving Jake alone with Amy and Pete and 1,000 questions. Outside, the battle continued. Human ships from other colonies were arriving to help fight the aliens. But the shadows were already there, dying to keep humans safe. Jake looked at his weapon. For the first time in 10 years, he wasn't sure who the real enemy was. Jake couldn't sleep. It had been 3 days since the battle at New Haven, and he kept thinking about what the shadow had said. Her name was Lisa Grant, and she claimed to protect him. But how could that be true? He sat in his office on the Vengeance, looking at old mission reports on his computer. Amy and Pete had tried to talk to him, but he told them to leave him alone. He needed to think. The battle at New Haven had ended when the alien ships retreated. The shadows had saved hundreds of human lives, but 12 shadows had died doing it. Jake watched them sacrifice themselves to protect people who hated them. Computer, show me all shadow attack reports from the past 15 years, Jake said. The screen filled with thousands of files. Jake started reading them one by one. He looked for patterns, for clues he might have missed before. After hours of reading, something strange became clear. In every report, shadows appeared just before something bad happened. Not after. Before. At the mining colony on Titan, shadows appeared 3 hours before a gas explosion that could have killed everyone. The miners thought the shadows caused the explosion, but the dates didn't match. On the farming planet of Green Valley, shadows showed up 2 days before alien pirates attacked. The military report said the shadows were working with the pirates, but Jake noticed the pirates shot at shadows too. At the research station on Luna Base, shadows appeared the same day a computer virus almost destroyed the life support systems. The official report blamed the shadows for the virus, but Jake found a note saying the virus came from outside the station. This can't be right, Jake said to himself. He kept reading. Every single attack had the same pattern. Shadows appeared. First, then something dangerous happened to humans. But the military always blamed the shadows for the danger. Jake found a file marked, Top Secret, Shadow War Origins. His security level was high enough to read it. What he found inside made his blood cold. The first shadow sighting was 15 years ago on the planet Hope. A small colony of farmers lived there. The report said shadows attacked the colony and killed 50 people. But there was another file hidden inside. A medical report from the colony's doctor. It said the people were not killed by energy weapons like shadows used. They were killed by bullets and bombs. Human weapons. Jake read further. The doctor wrote that strange beings made of light had appeared and tried to warn the colonists about incoming ships. But the colonists panicked and called for military help. While the soldiers chased the light beings, real attackers came from the sky. The attackers were human pirates working for a company that wanted the colony's land. They killed the colonists and took everything valuable. But the official report blamed the shadows. Why would they lie about this? Jake whispered. He kept searching through classified files. What he found made him sick. The Shadow War was profitable. Companies made billions of credits selling weapons to hunt shadows. Military officers got promoted for killing shadows. Politicians got elected by promising to protect humans from the shadow threat. But it was all based on lies. Jake found financial records showing that the same companies selling shadow hunting equipment also owned the mining rights to planets where shadows appeared. When shadows warned about dangers on these planets, the companies called it an attack and sent in hunters to kill them. The more Jake read, the angrier he became. Not at shadows, but at his own people. He found his sister's death report. The official version said shadows attacked her apartment building on Earth. But there was a witness statement that had been hidden from the main file. Mrs. Helen Rogers, who lived next door to Kate, wrote, I saw strange lights outside just before the attack. They seemed to be trying to tell us something. Then the real attackers came. Men in dark uniforms with human weapons. The lights tried to fight them off, but there were too many attackers. Jake's hands shook as he read. Kate hadn't been killed by shadows. She had been killed by humans, probably the same kind of people who covered up the truth about the Shadow War. Computer, search for any records of Lisa Grant. The computer found one file. Lisa Grant, age 22, reported missing from Earth 12 years ago. She had been a medical student who disappeared the same day as the first reported shadow attack on Earth. Jake stared at her picture. She had kind eyes and a gentle smile. She looked exactly like the shadow he had met at New Haven. A soft knock came at his door. Come in, Jake said. Amy entered, looking worried. Captain, are you okay? You've been in here for 3 days. Jake looked at her. Amy had been with him for years. She trusted him. She deserved to know the truth. Amy, what if I told you everything we've been doing is wrong? What do you mean? Jake turned his computer screen toward her. Look at these reports. Really look at them. The dates, the witness statements, the medical records. Amy read for several minutes. Her face grew pale. This says the shadows were trying to help people. That's because they were, Jake said. We've been killing Earth's protectors for 15 years. But the military leaders, the government, they all say they all lie, Jake interrupted. Because the truth doesn't make them money. Amy sat down heavily in a chair. All those shadows we killed were trying to save human lives, Jake finished. Pete's voice came over the communication system. Captain, we're getting orders from Command. They want us to hunt the shadow that escaped from New Haven. Jake looked at Amy. That shadow's name is Lisa Grant, and I think she's been trying to protect me my whole life. What are we going to do? Amy asked. Jake stood up and put on his jacket. We're going to find her, but not to kill her, to get answers. The military won't like that. I don't care what the military likes anymore, Jake said. I care about the truth. He walked to the bridge where Pete was waiting. Set course for the asteroid field near New Haven. If Lisa is still alive, that's where she'll be hiding. Sir, our orders are to use full weapons when we find the shadow, Pete said. Jake looked at his crew. These people trusted him. They had followed him into battle many times. Now he was asking them to trust him again, but this time against their own government. I'm going to tell you something that will sound crazy, Jake said. The shadows aren't our enemies. They're our guardians, and we've been murdering them for 15 years. The bridge was quiet. Finally, Pete spoke. What proof do you have? Jake told them everything he had learned. He showed them the hidden files and the witness reports. He explained about the companies, making money from the war, and the politicians who needed an enemy to stay in power. When he finished, Amy asked, So what do we do now? We find Lisa Grant, Jake said, and we ask her to tell us the whole truth. As the Vengeance flew toward the asteroid field, Jake thought about all the shadows he had killed. 47 beings who had died trying to protect humans. 47 guardians who had sacrificed themselves rather than hurt their charges. He had spent his life hunting angels, thinking they were demons. Now he had to find a way to make things right, if it wasn't already too late. The asteroid field was quiet and dark. Jake's ship moved slowly between the floating rocks, searching for any sign of Lisa. Pete watched his scanner carefully, looking for shadow energy. There, Pete said, pointing at his screen. Weak energy, reading from that big asteroid. Jake looked where Pete pointed. The asteroid was the size of a small moon with deep caves and tunnels. Perfect place to hide. Take us closer, but slowly, Jake ordered. I don't want to scare her away. They landed the ship on the asteroid's surface. Jake, Amy, and Pete put on their spacesuits and walked toward the caves. This time, Jake left his weapons on the ship. Captain, are you sure about this? Amy asked through the radio. Going in without weapons? If Lisa wanted to hurt us, she could have done it years ago, Jake replied. She's been protecting me, remember? They walked into the largest cave. Their helmet lights made strange shadows on the rocky walls. Deep inside the cave, they found a small chamber that glowed with soft blue light. Lisa was there, sitting on a rock ledge. She looked more solid than before, more like a real person. When she saw Jake, she stood up. You came looking for me, she said. Why? Because I need to know the truth, Jake said. All of it. Lisa studied his face. You read the files? Yes. And I know you're not my enemy, but I still don't understand what you really are. Lisa was quiet for a moment. Then she began to speak. Long ago, humans lived only on Earth. But Earth was dying. A great disaster was coming from space. Radiation that would kill all life on the planet. Most humans escaped to other worlds, but some stayed behind. She walked to the cave wall and touched it. Pictures appeared in the rock like a movie made of light. Jake saw Earth as it was thousands of years ago, green and beautiful. The humans who stayed found a way to survive the radiation. They changed their bodies, became beings of pure energy. They could live forever and travel between stars without ships, but they were no longer truly human. The pictures showed people becoming beings of light, just like Lisa. We called ourselves guardians. Our job was to watch over our younger brothers and sisters, the humans who had left Earth and spread across the galaxy. Why? Pete asked. Why not just live your own lives? Lisa smiled sadly. Because you are our family. When your parents grow old, do you abandon them? When your children face danger, do you ignore them? We are the older children and you are the younger ones. The pictures changed, showing human colonies on different worlds. Around each colony, Jake could see faint shapes of guardians watching over them. Every human family line has a guardian, assigned to protect them. Lisa continued. I was assigned to the Morrison family line 300 years ago. 300 years? Jake whispered. I protected your great-great-grandfather when he first left Earth. I watched over your great-grandfather during the First Colony War. I helped your grandfather survive the plague on Mars. I guided your father away from the mining accident that would have killed him. Jake felt dizzy. His whole family history, everything he thought he knew, was different. And Kate? He asked quietly. Lisa's expression became very sad. I tried to save her. The Krillian slavers were coming to take people from her city. I appeared to warn the authorities, but they thought I was attacking. While they wasted time hunting me, the slavers struck. She showed him pictures of that day. Jake saw Lisa trying desperately to warn people, saw human soldiers shooting at her while real enemies landed in the city. I got there too late. Kate was already... Lisa couldn't finish. You were there when I found her body, Jake said, remembering. Yes. I held her while she died. I tried to comfort her. She asked me to take care of her big brother. Jake felt tears in his eyes. But I've been hunting you, killing your people. We know, Lisa said, but we also understand. Humans need someone to blame when bad things happen. Your leaders gave you us. Why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you tell people the truth? Lisa showed him more pictures. Guardians throwing themselves in front of alien weapons to save human colonies. Guardians sacrificing themselves to stop disasters. Guardians dying to protect humans who hated them. Because protecting you is more important than protecting ourselves, she said. Even if you kill us, we will still try to save you. Amy stepped forward. How many of you are left? Not many. Maybe 200 in all of human space. There used to be thousands. Jake felt sick. I've killed 47 Guardians. I know. But they chose to let you kill them rather than hurt you. Each one could have destroyed your ship easily, but they died instead. This is insane, Pete said. Why would anyone choose to die like that? Because, Lisa said, love is stronger than fear. Hope is stronger than hate. She turned to Jake. The Guardians who died fighting you left messages for me to give you. Messages? Light swirled around Lisa and Jake heard voices, soft, kind voices that spoke directly to his mind. Tell Jake Morrison we forgive him. Tell him we understand his pain. Tell him we died gladly so he could live. Tell him his sister sends her love. Jake fell to his knees. The weight of what he had done crashed down on him. I'm a monster. Lisa knelt beside him. No. You're a human who was lied to. You're a brother who lost his sister and wanted justice. There is no shame in that. But all those Guardians died doing what they were born to do, protecting humans, even from other humans when necessary. Jake looked up at her. What can I do? How can I make this right? Lisa's expression became urgent. There isn't much time. The military leaders know you've been reading classified files. They're sending other ships to kill you. Let them come, Jake said. It's not just you they want to kill. They're planning something bigger. A final attack on all remaining Guardians. Amy gasped. They want to wipe you out completely? Yes, and without us humanity will face the coalition. What coalition? Pete asked. Lisa showed them pictures of massive alien fleets. Ships from dozens of different species all armed with terrible weapons. 5 alien empires have been planning to destroy humanity for years. They see you as a threat that grows stronger every day. The only reason they haven't attacked is because they fear the Guardians. Fear you? But there are only 200 of you left. We are more powerful than we appear. One Guardian can destroy a fleet if necessary. But the coalition has been waiting, watching your people hunt us down. When we are all gone, they will strike. Jake stood up. When? Soon. Maybe days. Maybe weeks. Their scouts are already watching human worlds. Jake looked at Amy and Pete. We have to warn everyone. Who will believe you? Lisa asked. The same leaders who have been lying for 15 years? Then what do we do? Lisa was quiet for a long moment. There might be a way, but it would be very dangerous. Tell me. I could share my memories with you. show you everything. All of human history. All the secrets the Guardians have kept. But the process might kill you. Human minds aren't meant to hold so much information. Jake didn't hesitate. Do it. Jake, no, Amy said. It's too risky. If I don't do this, humanity dies, Jake replied. If I do it and die, at least you'll have the truth to share. Lisa looked into his eyes. Are you sure? I'm sure. Lisa placed her hands on Jake's head. Light flowed between them. Jake's mind exploded with images, voices, memories that went back thousands of years. He saw the birth of the Guardian race. He saw the first human colonies. He saw Guardians saving humans from disasters, wars, plagues, and alien attacks. He saw the conspiracy that created the Shadow War, and he saw what was coming. Alien fleets so vast they blotted out stars, weapons that could destroy entire planets, and the end of human civilization. When it was over, Jake collapsed. But he was alive, and his mind was full of truth. Now you know everything, Lisa said weakly. The process had drained her too. Jake stood up slowly. Now I know what we have to do. But before he could say more, alarms rang from their ship. Pete looked at his communicator. Captain, we've got company. 5 military ships just dropped out of hyperspace. They're surrounding us. Jake looked at Lisa. Are you strong enough to fight? I won't fight other humans, she said, even to save myself. Then we run. They rushed back to their ship, but it was too late. Military ships were already landing on the asteroid. Soldiers in battle armor were coming toward their ship. Jake recognized the leader, Colonel Mark Davis, his old commanding officer. Surrender, Morrison, Davis called over the radio. You're under arrest for treason. Jake grabbed the ship's communicator. Mark, you have to listen to me. Everything we've been told about the shadows is a lie. I know what you've been reading, Jake. Classified files you had no right to see. Now surrender before we have to take you by force. Jake looked at his crew. Amy and Pete were ready to fight, but they were outnumbered 10-1. There's another way, Lisa said quietly. She was looking at the approaching soldiers with sad eyes. What? I can get us out of here, but you'll have to trust me completely. Jake didn't hesitate. I trust you. Lisa smiled, the first truly happy expression he had seen from her. Then hold on tight. We're going home. Light filled the ship, and everything changed. The light faded, and Jake found himself somewhere impossible. They were still in space, but not normal space. Stars moved like rivers of light around them. Colors that had no names painted the darkness. Lisa's power had taken them to a place between worlds. Where are we? Amy whispered. The Guardian Realm, Lisa said. She looked tired but peaceful. A place where energy beings can rest. Through the strange light, Jake saw other shapes moving toward them. More Guardians, the last survivors of their ancient race. They came from all directions, drawn by Lisa's call. My brothers and sisters, Lisa said softly. I have brought humans who know the truth. The Guardians surrounded Jake's ship. He could feel their sadness, their hope, and their love for humanity. These beings had watched over his species for thousands of years, and now they were almost extinct. One Guardian spoke, its voice like wind through trees. The final attack comes soon, Lisa Grant. The coalition fleets gather at the edge of human space. How long do we have? Jake asked. Hours, maybe less, another Guardian replied. They wait only for confirmation that we are truly gone. Lisa turned to Jake. You have the memories now. You know what humans must do to survive. Jake nodded. The knowledge Lisa had shared showed him everything. The coalition's plan, the weak points in human defenses, and the one chance humanity had to win. We have to unite the human fleets, he said, all of them from every colony and world, and we have to tell them the truth about the Guardians. The military leaders will never allow it, Pete said. They'll arrest anyone who tries. Then we bypass the leaders, Jake replied. We broadcast directly to every human ship, every colony, every person in space. Amy checked her instruments. Our communication system isn't strong enough to reach that far. Lisa smiled. But ours is. The Guardians began to glow brighter. Their combined energy formed a network that stretched across all of human space. Every communication device in human territory would receive Jake's message. What will you tell them? Lisa asked. Jake thought carefully. One message to save his entire species. It had to be perfect. He activated the ship's transmitter. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Starship Vengeance. I'm broadcasting on all frequencies to every human in space. What I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but your lives depend on believing it. He took a deep breath. For 15 years we have been at war with beings we call shadows. But we were wrong. These beings are not our enemies, they are our protectors. Across human space, people stopped what they were doing to listen. The shadows are ancient humans who evolved beyond physical form. They have been guarding us, dying for us, sacrificing themselves to keep us safe. And we have been killing them. Jake's voice grew stronger. The real threat comes now. Alien fleets are gathering to destroy humanity. They have been waiting for us to kill all our guardians. Without the shadows to protect us, we are helpless. He paused, knowing his next words would change everything. In 1 hour, the largest alien invasion force in galactic history will attack Earth. Every human world will be targeted. Our only chance is to work together, humans and guardians, fighting as one. The response was immediate. Communications channels lit up with messages from across human space. Some people were angry, calling Jake a traitor. Others were confused, asking for proof. But many believed him, especially the colonists who had seen shadows die protecting them. Admiral Sarah Collins of the Earth Defense Fleet sent a direct message. Morrison, this is Collins. I've been reviewing the same classified files you found. My God, what have we done? More military leaders joined the channel. Captain Frank Hill from the Mars Fleet, Commander Lucy Davis from the Outer Rim Patrol, Colonel Bill Smith from the Colonial Guard. They had all seen the evidence and were ready to fight. All human ships prepare for immediate hyperspace jump to Earth, Admiral Collins ordered. We're about to face the fight of our lives. But as the human fleets gathered, warning signals came from every direction. The coalition was moving faster than expected. Massive alien ships dropped out of hyperspace around Earth, around Mars, around every major human world. The invasion had begun. Jake watched the tactical display with growing horror. The alien fleet was enormous. Thousands of ships from 5 different species, all armed with weapons that could crack planets. The combined human fleet looked tiny by comparison. We can't win this fight, Pete said quietly. Not alone, Lisa agreed. She looked at the other Guardians. But we are still here. What happened next became legend among humans. The remaining Guardians spread across the battle zone, each one taking position between human ships and alien weapons. When the aliens fired, the Guardians absorbed the energy and redirected it back at the attackers. Lisa stayed with Jake's ship, her power shielding them from enemy fire. Stay close to me, she told Jake. I'll keep you safe. The battle was fierce. Alien ships filled space with deadly energy beams. Human ships fought back with everything they had, but it was the Guardians who turned the tide, their ancient power protecting humanity's children one last time. Jake watched in awe as Lisa deflected blast after blast from alien weapons. But each time she used her power, she grew weaker. Energy was burning her away. Lisa, you're killing yourself, he said. That's what Guardians do, she replied with a sad smile. We die so our family can live. Around them, other Guardians were fading too. They threw themselves between human ships and alien fire, sacrificing their ancient lives to save people who had hunted them for years. The tide of battle began to turn. With Guardian protection, human ships could get close enough to fight back, effectively. Admiral Collins coordinated the combined fleet with skill born of desperation. One by one, alien ships began to explode, but the cost was terrible. The Guardians were disappearing, 200 became 100, then 50, then 20. We're winning, Amy reported. The aliens are retreating. Jake looked at Lisa. She was barely visible now, her form flickering like a dying candle. We did it. We saved them. You saved them, Lisa corrected. You chose truth over lies. You chose love over hate. The last alien ships were fleeing now, their mighty coalition broken by the combined power of humans and guardians. But Lisa was fading. Fast, Jake, she whispered. Come here. He moved close to her. She was so weak now that her voice was barely audible. I need to tell you something before I go. Don't go, Jake said. Please. I just found you. I have to. We all do. This was our final purpose, to save humanity one last time. Jake felt tears on his face. I'm sorry. For hunting you, for killing your people, for everything. Lisa reached out with a fading hand and touched his cheek. There is nothing to forgive. You were protecting your family just like we were protecting ours. She was almost gone now. Jake could barely see her. Lisa, wait. What do I tell people? How do I explain what happened here? Her voice was like wind. Tell them that love is stronger than fear. Tell them that family is worth any sacrifice. Tell them that guardians come in many forms, and sometimes the people we think are enemies are actually angels. Jake held her as she faded. Will I see you again? Someday, she whispered. In whatever comes after this life, I'll be waiting. Her last words were the ones that would haunt Jake forever. I spent my whole life guarding you, and you were hunting me. Then she was gone. Lisa Grant, the last guardian of the Morrison family line, had given her life to save the species she loved. Jake sat in the silence of space, holding nothing but empty air. Around him, the human fleet celebrated their victory. They had survived the greatest threat in their history, but the cost had been the extinction of their oldest friends. Later, when the celebration ended and the dead were counted, Jake stood before the combined leadership of humanity. He told them everything, the true history of the Guardians, the lies that started the Shadow War, and the sacrifice that ended it. We owe them a debt we can never repay, Admiral Collins said. How do we honor their memory? Jake thought of Lisa's final words. We remember. We tell our children the truth about the beings who loved us enough to die for us. We make sure this never happens again. The first memorial to the Guardians was built on Earth, near the place where Kate Morrison had died. Jake designed it himself, a simple stone with 200 names, the last Guardians who had given their lives for humanity. At the dedication ceremony, Jake spoke to a crowd of millions. They were our family, he said. Our older brothers and sisters who watched over us from the beginning. We thought they were monsters, but they were angels. He placed a single flower at the base of the memorial, a white rose for Lisa Grant. They asked for nothing but our safety. They gave everything, including their lives. We will remember them always. As Jake walked away from the memorial, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. The war was over. The truth had won. And somewhere, among the stars, he knew Lisa was watching over him still. The Guardians were gone, but their love remained forever.